Welcome into another episode of the Pain and Panic Podcast. Adam Sheets, Chris Reynolds with you as always. It's been an eventful Sunday here, Chris, in the National Football League. I'm wearing a bunch of Super Bowl merch because potentially could be the last Super Bowl we see this team win for a while in the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, so the Chiefs we talked a lot about last week, how this is a must-win game. However, they did get a break this week. The Colts, looks like their season might be done with Daniel Jones out. So they might still get the last seed, but it looks like if the Texans can close this out here, there's only a few minutes left. Looks like they are. Chiefs, another interception. The Chiefs now lost the tiebreaker with the Texans. They lost it to the Bills. So their only real chance is against the Chargers, who are in their division. Now, next week, the Chiefs play the Chargers. If they lose to the Chargers next week, it's done. Like, it is like 0% chance that they could actually do anything. Because they'd lose a tiebreaker to all these teams. It would take a huge collapse for everyone else, and the Chiefs would have to win out. So, this was a three-legged, like, the Chiefs had three must-wins. It was, that week against the Colts, this week against the Texans, and next week against the Chargers. They lost one. And now they need a miracle. They need the Chargers to kind of collapse a little bit, only win like one or two games, and then Chiefs need to win next week. But the Texans, man, we talked about this, Adam. I'm loving the Texans lately. Their defense is just so good. So with halfway decent quarterback play, they could win any game.
Yep, they're a really good team. They're coming right back. They've bounced back from an awful start. Sorry, just peeking over to see what they're doing now. They're at the 15-yard line. They should just, at the worst, kick a field goal to end this game, but you never know. Crazy things happen in that stadium sometimes, but it looks like they should be able to close it out.
CJ Stroud, didn't look great. The offensive line in the beginning of the year was really terrible. Now I would say it's just not good. Like, it's not great. You know what I mean? No one's going to say it's a good offensive line, but it wasn't, in shambles like week one, or week two when CJ Stroud had, no time. CJ gets hurt. Davis Mills come in. I think they kind of simplified things offensively. They look better.
Yeah, and the Chiefs, this has been weird. They've been able to get zero pass rush basically all year. Starting with that week one game. Remember when Rashawn Slater was out and we're like, Justin Herbert could be in trouble? They got no pressure on him. Their secondary hasn't been good all year. The pass defense has really let this team down. I think someone said they're near the bottom of the league on third and long defense. Like, they give up more first downs than most teams in the league, which is just...
I will say, Adam, today I think the defense was pretty good for the most part. Chris Jones had a pretty good game today, but the third and longs, just Stroud running back there, and then someone magically at the last second just dives in, makes an incredible catch. Great game by the Texans, and it looks like the Texans are going to secure their spot in the playoffs with the Colts falling out, which we could get to next. But I just think this has been like on the wall for weeks. Kansas City doesn't look good. Rashee Rice came back. Then they felt like one of the best teams in the league, but they're still not winning. And I think this might be the end of, wow, the Chiefs might not make the playoffs, let alone winning the Super Bowl or making the Super Bowl. They may not make the playoffs. I think that's incredibly shocking considering they haven't had, huge injuries. They had to the offensive line, but Mahomes didn't get hurt. Rashee Rice was suspended, but they knew that, that was going to happen. Xavier Worthy isn't that impactful where he should be losing these games without him. As long as you have Mahomes, you should make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true, but they aren't going to make it this year. And they'll
maybe,
regroup.
Though.
I mean, there's always a chance. They have a 13% chance.
If they beat the Chargers next week, Adam, they would have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So then, if they go down, they'd have to beat the Broncos again. But if they beat the Broncos, beat the Chargers, they only have the Titans after that, and then one other team that they could beat. So next week is their last chance, but they still might not get in.
You can just say 13%. That's what they're at. 13% chance.
I don't like the percentages because that's all arbitrary, okay?
Well, yeah, but that's what it is. Because they also, it's not just beating the Chargers. Then you need the Chargers to lose another game. Because remember, the Chargers are 9-4 right now. 8-4, and they play tomorrow. So you'd also need probably a loss tomorrow. You got to get them down to at least 7 losses to bring even that tiebreaker into effect. So they need help.
I said this to you, Adam. Teams should purposely lose to the Chargers. They should, put their team on rest. The Eagles don't want to. I think the Eagles hate the Chiefs, so hey,
well,
Chargers.
I don't think the Eagles really care about the Chiefs at this point. But I think they got other fish to fry.
The Chargers play the Broncos at the end of the year. If the Broncos don't have any way to go up or down, you could just rest all your guys and just kick the Chiefs out. I think they would prefer not to have the Chiefs in there.
Oh yeah, some of them. The Broncos, absolutely, but the Eagles, I think that they got other things to worry. They got enough going on in Philly that they should be worried
The
about.
Cowboys lost, but we could move on from the Chiefs. But I think it is noticeable that like this game drastically changed the playoff picture because now
hmm
Texans are kind of in. Looks like the Jags are gonna be in. Chiefs are falling out. Colts probably fell out today. Bills had a big win today, and so did the Patriots didn't play this week, so it looks like that division's
No.
locked up. The last one's the AFC North, Adam, and I don't think I even care who comes out of that division because they're not gonna really win any real
Okay. Well,
playoff run.
let's not jump to the AFC North yet. Let's talk about the division we were in, the AFC South,
Okay.
where we wanted to go because I think the biggest domino that fell in the AFC wasn't just this game, it was the fact that Daniel Jones has now torn his Achilles and is out for the year, which basically is writing off the Indianapolis Colts. Barring a miracle backup quarterback run for them, they are now sitting at 8-5 after a 36-19 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a very fun game to watch for me. It was sad to see Daniel Jones go down. I will say, and this is not me being malicious, I was quietly rooting for Riley Leonard to exit the game at some point just so Tyler Warren could play quarterback. Only reason. Nothing to do with Riley Leonard. I just wanted to see Tyler Warren.
And I was like, I don't know how to respond because I get your point, but I just feel bad
It had
agreeing.
nothing to do. No, it had nothing to do with injuries. It was just I'd like to see Tyler Warren play some quarterback.
It'd be fun with Tyler Warren back at quarterback. But when Daniel Jones was in there, Jonathan Taylor scored a touchdown again. Like, oh, cool. We haven't seen this in a while.
Well,
He was dominating.
Daniel Jones threw a pick on the first play.
His first pick was quite terrible. But once he was back in there, he kind of looked solid. I'm like, all right, they could like make this close and maybe win this one. But without him, I just don't see it. They have a tough schedule ahead. They don't have the tiebreaker to the Chiefs anymore. That would have saved them because the Chiefs, if they were the final seed, the Colts could have topped them with the equal record. I just don't think the Colts are going to win out here. That'd be, incredible if they did, but there's no way.
There's a chance they could lose out. I mean, that's how tough their schedule is compared to the other teams. Their schedule is tough. They had the toughest of their.
You look at the Sauce Gardner trade, and you're like, why did we make that trade? You trade two firsts?
2 first-round picks.
For a win-now move. Daniel Jones, as soon as they did that, like actually it was the week before, starts to go down.
Mm-hmm.
I think, even though he got hurt today, even before the injury, started to play worse. And then today, Adam, they said he wouldn't break his leg anymore with the injury, but we see this. When you have an injury on one leg, you actually injure the other leg because it's, compensating for the injury to the other leg. So, like, when one thing's off, it messes up a lot of things, increases the risk for injury. Injuries attract more injuries. That's what happened, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Terrible to see. Colts season probably done. They already traded away 2 first-round picks. And also, Adam, their defense was falling apart.
Yeah.
Forrest Buckner, he also wasn't there. He was having a great season. I know they lost other guys. I'm not a big defensive personnel guy, but DeForest Buckner once liked one of my videos I posted for a company, so I was very happy with him. These are my favorite guys.
But I mean, Trevor Lawrence was going off today, which I mean, in a monsoon, Trevor Lawrence having his best passing game. I think that might say a lot about your defense, and not as much about Trevor. Brian Thomas Jr. was catching the ball somehow today. Monsoon, and the guy starts hauling him in. Makes no sense.
The weather, I can't tell if it actually makes a difference because you'd think so, but then you're watching these guys in the snow and the rain catching in guys indoors drop passes. So I'm like, I don't really. I think it's overrated.
It affects the runners because ETN and Jonathan Taylor fumbled today. So I mean,
I think there's more fumbles. Like James Cook fumbled in the end zone, almost cost them the game. But then T. Higgins is out here making one-hand catches, making just perfect over people catches. I'm like, it's just completely snowing right now. Yeah. Like it is a blizzard, and he's just perfect hands where CeeDee Lamb inside in Detroit couldn't catch the pass.
But let's not technically. There's things the Colts could do. Riley Leonard's going to be their quarterback. Brett Ripien is on their practice squad, so they could bring him up as the backup for Riley Leonard. They also could go out. There are some free agent options. Sam Ehlinger was a quarterback for them a couple years ago in the Shane Steichen system. Taylor Heineke's out there. He had a playoff run a couple years ago when they played Tom Brady and them in the playoffs when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's out there. And then, of course, there's a potential that Jake Browning or Joe Flacco could request their release, more specifically Joe Flacco, to maybe try to go back to Indianapolis. He was there as well. So there are some outlets for them, but I don't know how realistic it is unless it is a Joe Flacco getting out of his contract in Cincinnati and coming over.
I don't see why the Bengals would do that.
You never know.
They just traded for him. You still need Burrow insurance in case you're going to try to compete. I think the Bengals aren't technically out because I think the Steelers winning helps the Bengals because I think the Steelers are actually a worse team, so like maybe it'll lower the Ravens and the Steelers so that the Bengals could tie.
Well, we'll talk
But
about the schedules left for those teams, but
yeah, but I don't think you're gonna want to help out the Colts,
they're not
you
gonna
know.
do it. But it's just a
But
possibility. Or maybe they're like,
Flacco's probably the only one that I could like talk
yeah,
myself into like winning 2 games and maybe making a wild card.
maybe the Giants are nice to Jameis.
I think they just want Jameis in the locker room to coach
They
Jackson
had
Hart.
him on TV today singing Duval in his Broadway voice today, so it was beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are the
Russell Wilson might be available.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's available as well. There's guys out there, but they have to get released now. You can't trade for them. So like they have to ask for their release and come over.
After the trade deadline, nothing's happening. No one's gonna want to help out the Colts.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tough for Indianapolis. But Chris, it was a busy injury day, as we noticed, especially all almost in the 1 o'clock hour outside of CD on Thursday. Everything else was all at the same time.
Yeah, no one cares about my fantasy team, but I have a team with CeeDee Lamb, and it's 2 QBs. I have Daniel Jones and Jaden Daniels starting, so it was a rough week for me. So, other injuries, Jaden Daniels. For some reason, they decided to play him on a dislocated elbow that looked terrible. He ends up being okay, so good enough to play, and then he throws one of the worst pick sixes, or just picks, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and the defense just runs right at him and blows him up. And I'm like, I get they're blocking, but they're clearly just trying to take a hit on the quarterback who's like Jay Nails is a pretty thin guy. I'm like, that was just so unnecessary. Just frustrating to watch. Lands on the elbow, he's in pain. Mariota comes in, immediately throws a hospital ball to Zach Ertz, and then you saw it immediately, torn ACL. Devon Achane, rib injury. I don't really know the extent of that, but the Dolphins, honestly, if the Chiefs just officially lost, the Dolphins have the same record right now, I believe. So who knows what could happen there, but no.
Man, we talked about this a couple weeks ago about the Dolphins potentially making a run here with the schedule they have.
I'm not going to buy into it, but hey, Dolphins won in cold weather. That's stunning.
Yes, they did.
Speaking of that game, Tyrod Taylor left pretty early on with a groin injury. That killed any chance the Jets had of winning. It was what was it?
Granted, they were down like 21-0 to start the game, so there wasn't much of a chance.
It was a rough start, but they had a punt return for a touchdown.
They did.
But yeah, CeeDee Lamb got hurt on Thursday with a concussion. Also, T. Higgins definitely. I thought T. Higgins was like definitely concussed. He goes to the ground, slams when he goes to the ground, slams his head. He looks like he was in pain, lost the ball and everything. Like, oh, he's definitely concussed. Next drive, he's out there. He actually dropped a pass right in his hands, and I was like, how is he on the field? But he still made some plays, so I guess T. Higgins is okay. I'm kind of stunned at that.
Let's not speculate and call out NFL doctors here.
I am just saying. I was like, oh, he's gonna be in concussion protocol for 2 weeks, but
yeah. But I mean, if you're. Let's not accuse them because the Bengals would probably lose multiple first-round picks over that.
I thought it was going to be an injury based on the view, and he was back in the game very quickly.
That's why we're not doctors, Chris. But let's go to the Bengals here, who lose a tough one, 39-34 to Buffalo. And they had this game. They were up by double digits in this game. They were up 21-11. They were up 28-18. But Joe Burrow struggles in the fourth quarter in the blizzard. 2 fourth-quarter interceptions. 1 a pick six to Benford. Then the very next throws a pick to A.J. Epinesa that leads to a Josh Allen passing touchdown. And the Bills were able to hold on to get the win. This was a huge one. The Bengals, remember, it was like they needed that Cinderella run, and they have this one in their grasp. A game a lot of people thought probably was going to be a loss for them, but they had it, and they let it slip through their fingers and fall to 4-9 on the year.
Yeah, I think they're still alive because of the division that they're in, but this was a game they could have just stolen it in Buffalo, in the snow. It looks like the playoff game from years ago when they played in the snow. And after that game, the Bills were like, all right, we're stopping the pass. This defense is bad. They can't stop the run. So we're going to build a running team and a good pass defense to try to beat teams like this. Cincinnati walked in, threw all over them in the beginning, and they were the better team for most of the game. James Cook, Bills got some momentum. James Cook fumbled the ball at the 1, and then later in the game fumbled it into the end zone, and it was like, what are we doing? So the Bills were going to lose. I'm watching all right, the Bills need a stop. It's possible. The Bengals slow down. And Burrow tried floating this pass. I just don't know what, the negative downside would have been obvious pick six. did not get the right touch at all. Goes right to a defender with an open field in front of him. Easy, pick six. Bills get the lead. Then, to ice the game, well, Burrow throws the other pick, which wasn't as much his fault like the other one. But then the Bills, they always go for it in these situations. They're aggressive, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. 4th and goal, they go for it. Josh Allen throws a touchdown. If you have Josh Allen, I'm okay with you going for it. That's what you have him for.
Josh was great today. Josh played
Put the
really
ball in
well.
his hands, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can kick the field goal, let Burrow try to go down and score a touchdown and try to whatever, but like, give Josh Allen the ball as many times as possible. Good things are going to happen. Give him 4 chances to score, something good will happen. He's a good player. It's not like CJ Stroud on the Texans who we just watched. Sometimes kick the field goal. But with Josh Allen, go for it. And they do that a lot. I appreciate it. So, Bills came away with that one. Bengals, I think they got saved by Lamar having a rough start to the day, and then Steelers stole a win.
Let's talk about this. First of all, credit to the Bills for getting this win. How many times I had to watch the Joe Burrow 2023 throw and warm-ups when he spins around in the snow in Buffalo? Like, man, Joe Burrow loves the snow. Thank God Buffalo got a win just for maybe we could stop posting a video from like almost 2 years ago, 3 seasons ago. Let's relax a little bit on that. But let's look at the AFC North standings. So the Steelers beat the Ravens today, 27-22. Was a classic Ravens-Steelers game, close back and forth down to the end. Even a controversial call to boot on Isaiah Likely's touchdown that was taken away. Just everything you want in a Steelers-Ravens game, and the Steelers get the win. They are at 7-6 and still alone at the top of the AFC North. The Ravens fall to 6-7, and the Bengals 3 games back of Pittsburgh at 4-9. And Chris, you mentioned you like it because the Steelers you think might be a little worse, but here's the problem where if the Ravens would have won, maybe you would have felt better. Looking at the schedules here, Pittsburgh to finish out. They got Monday night here coming up against the Dolphins at home. Then they go to Detroit, to Cleveland, and then home for Baltimore to finish the season. Baltimore then goes to Cincinnati this week, so Cincy and Baltimore will play each other, and then the Ravens have New England, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. So if you look at the schedules, the Ravens have a gauntlet where the Pittsburgh, you win 2 games, you clinch the division at least and will eliminate Cincinnati, and they got Miami and Cleveland, which will be good opportunities for them to get that done.
Yeah, it's really tough because Buffalo just destroyed Pittsburgh last week, and I was like, all right, the Steelers are not going to win another game, and then they come out and do this to the Ravens. So
that first drive looked just like the Buffalo game where they just ran it down their throats. They just got away from it, but like they just rammed it right down.
Yeah, I think Lamar finally started to look like himself, but it was too late, and the Steelers just kind of stole this win. I know the Ravens have a tougher ending. I think honestly the Bengals. I would be the most afraid of the Bengals if I'm another team. I think the Bengals have the highest ceiling of what they can do. The Steelers probably have the lowest ceiling, and the Ravens I don't know what to do with. I don't know what I would predict. I think like mathematically the Steelers have the best chance, but I just want to bet on a team like that I think is better in the Bengals, but didn't have Burrow for a lot of the year.
Yeah, so the Bengals, they get Baltimore, then they go Miami, Arizona, Cleveland. So it is very realistic for them to win out. But the problem is, like we said, Pittsburgh just has to win 2 games to clinch the division, at least over Cincinnati. Now, the Ravens can have something to say about that, and they get Miami. The Detroit game's going to be really tough, but then they go to Cleveland and they get Baltimore. So you think Miami, Cleveland, Baltimore, they're winnable games for this Pittsburgh team. You just got to find a way to win 2 of those 3. So it should be fun. I agree with you, though. Cincinnati's probably the scariest team. I think everybody outside of that division, the 5 seed, whoever that's going to be, I think right now would be Buffalo, is rooting for Pittsburgh to win because they know they can go into Pittsburgh and just mollywop them. So I don't think they're going to be too afraid of that. But should be fun to see. And like we said, Cincinnati winning out would at least add some drama to this. But you know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, we need some drama in here.
Now, the Steelers are going to be 8-8 playing Baltimore. The Ravens are going to be 7-9, and the Bengals will be 7-9. And it'll all come down to if the Bengals win, they clinch the division, and they're going to lose to Shadur Sanders and the Browns. Just how you draw it up.
Maybe. And honestly, Adam, we could. Yeah, was the Titans they were your upset pick, correct?
They were my upset pick.
Whatever one of our upset picks win, the other one does too. Because I picked the Texans who won today. So
yes, you did.
I noticed that, and I was like, that's
great
insane.
job, by the way. I want to take some credit for your upset pick. Not a lot, just a little, because your initial upset pick was Commanders over Vikings. So
well, to be fair, Mariota had to come in halfway through the game, and that was a rough start. And I did not know Jaden was going to be playing. which you'd think would help. But I really like the vibes from last week and the Commanders. Then they lost them. Also, it was really the fact of like you more so were like you love the Tech. You told me I love the Texans. Just pick the Texans, and I was like, you're right. And
I
they have a
did.
bigger spread. So, and also in our little game we played, I would have won if I picked the Texans instead of the Browns in
Yes,
our
you
little
would
game that
have.
we do.
Now it comes down to
However,
Eagles Chargers.
I did not. If the Eagles win, we split this week. But
Hmm.
no, I also think one of the most frustrating things about football are the stupid celebrations that the players do. Shedeur Sanders is actually playing a pretty good game. All right.
Yeah.
He's had some really good throws in there, and the
Played really well.
Titans. Yeah, the Titans would score, and they would like do a Shedeur celebration mocking him, and I'm like, he didn't do anything wrong. He did a dump off pass to Dylan Sampson, who fumbles the ball. Not Shadeur's fault. The Titans recover it, and they're doing the Shedeur celebration. And I'm like, if Shedeur threw a pick, fine. If you threw a pick six, fine. You recovered a fumble from Dylan Sampson. Do a Dylan Sampson celebration to mock him, not Shedeur Sanders. It doesn't make any sense.
I think they were more
sacked Tommy
mocking
DeVito,
Pops.
they did the Tommy DeVito. It doesn't make sense to mock someone who's not involved.
I think they're mocking Pops. Dad was there today, so I think it was.
I
a
don't
lot
think
more
they're mocking
Dad.
I think they're mocking Shedeur. They're trying to get into his head. Shedeur then went down and scored another touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
If
And
they
great
sack
play
Shedeur
call.
Sanders, huh?
Great play call on the 2-point conversion, by the way.
Listen, the 2-point okay, the 2-point plays were terrible. The first one Shedeur didn't really execute well. The other ones they're trying to have Judkins as this wildcat, but until Judkins throws the football, it's not going to work because he's just going to run the ball. Teams
Well, he
just
was
go,
going
all
to
right.
throw it today, but he was.
I don't think he was though. I don't think he was actually
they were
supposed
running.
to.
They were running a rollout play, and he was going to throw, and it wasn't there, and that's why he ran backwards, and then he tried to throw it across the field.
I don't think he actually ever planned on throwing.
Well,
I
if they
think it
weren't
was-
throwing it, then their O-line messed up because they pass blocked on it. So
I honestly looked at that and I was just wondering what did they possibly think was going to happen because the outcome was so terrible. And
hey,
I don't
said
know.
it worked in practice. So
Maybe I don't know about
Yeah, he
that
said-
one. I don't
he
know
said-
what
he
the,
said
I don't know
it
what the
worked
Browns
in practice.
defense, the scout team is doing there, but
he said it worked
don't know.
in practice. So you never.
I probably want to do that in the 2-point. Probably just have Shedeur, in the pocket, and he could scramble in. I think that's
Yeah.
usually the best bet.
Yeah, that's what you
Jaden
think.
Daniels today actually had a play that frustrated me. He was in a pocket. No one came near him at all. He had all this time. And then he scrambled towards the sideline, ran out of space, threw it out of bounds. And I was like, why did you do that? You didn't need to run out of bounds. I don't understand. But
Yeah.
I thought Shedeur played great.
By the way, what the worst quarterback you ever seen do today?
J.J. McCarthy played one of his best games.
Yes, he did.
He did.
You gotta really just criticize the Saints every week at this point. Whoever you criticize plays really well.
Listen,
Just
Adam,
criticize every Saints.
I
player.
wasn't
Just
telling
criticize-
you, I was saying I think he's bad because he was playing badly. Not gonna, I'm not gonna say I'm wrong. He was terrible for 90% of the season. I was saying statistically, he was the second worst according to, the DVEA.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you should just trash all your Saints players, and I think they'd start playing really,
the
really
stupid
well.
Saints won today, those idiots.
I know they did.
Make every game close, but lose. They tried, Adam. They tried. Tyler
They're
Sharp would
helping the
throw a pass
Panthers.
huh?
They're helping the Panthers. Let them help the Panthers.
Honestly, it'd be funny if the Panthers end up winning the division, but the Saints are trying. They threw a little dump off to the running back instead of catching it, he bumps it into the air to the other team, and the Bucks just kept dropping all these interceptions. I'm like, what are you doing? Egbuka dropped a touchdown, but also Baker overthrows Egbuka every single time. I don't know what's happened there. Egbuka went from 5 catches a game and an automatic touchdown to 2 catches a game for 15 yards, and that's it. That's terrible. The Bucks look broken. I think Baker's, we're even talking about, Danny Dimes, how long can he keep it up? Baker had 3 good years, but I think it's kind of,
Well, 3 good
Look him
years
over.
is a lot longer than Danny Dimes had, so it's
Daniel
let's
Jones had
acknowledge
2
that.
good years.
He did
Daniel
not
Jones
have
had
2
two-
good years. He had 1 good year. The year they went to the playoffs, he was not good. He had 12 touchdowns.
No, but he would just get in the end zone and Saquon would take the touchdowns. It was great.
No, he was not good. I'm not allowed.
No, I'm
to
giving
say.
him
He had a
credit.
good
He had a good
playoff
season.
game. He had a good
He had a good-
playoff
yeah,
game.
No, Daniel Jones was
He had
playing
a
a lot better that year compared to every other year. Baker, I think Baker was great, and I think in the beginning of the year,
quarterbacks playing horribly and then having then having an okay year doesn't mean he played good. Doesn't
But he
mean
was playing good. They were in the playoffs. If you're a playoff team, your quarterback has to be somewhat decent.
really. Or are we seriously? You're telling me there's been no quarterback in the NFL history that has been in the playoffs that is good?
What's probably the worst one?
The worst one. Well, I mean, there's a Mitch Trubisky.
I was about to say Trubisky's probably yeah.
Or Kenny
Yeah.
Pickett, because you can pick one of the two. Plus, Baker also had the playoff year in Cleveland.
Listen, I'm not saying like Baker this was all fluke. I'm saying like Baker might just be getting worse.
I just
How
don't
old is
want
he?
comparing Baker Mayfield to Daniel Jones. There is
Well,
a
I'm just
big
saying
gap
like
between
Baker, we all just
Mayfield,
trust, and
Daniel
I'm
Jones.
like, I don't know.
Like Sam Darnold.
I think he's
who actually
played terrible for like Baker's 30, so maybe he's like starting to decline. But
Sam Darnold played really, really well. Sam Darnold still
Baker
good.
peaked
He actually
last
struggled in the
year.
first
We
half.
saw that beginning of the season. He was playing great until like week 5. Started to go down. And now they're getting options back, but it's not helping.
Yeah, we'll see. Mike Evans comes back. Probably next week, you'd think.
Listen, they had Mike Evans at the start of the year, and he was getting 2 catches a game.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just saying that'll help give them a weapon. Just another guy
They
out
have
there.
weapons.
Body.
You just can't hit them. They're wide
Yeah.
open. He just overthrows every single person. It's really
that division's coming down. That division's gonna come down to 2 games. The Panthers and Bucks play each other twice. That's
Crazy.
the division. So we'll see what happens. Bucks play on Thursday night when they take on the Falcons. But let's look at the NFC playoffs here, Chris, because it feels like it's all but set at this point. Outside of maybe the 7 seed changing, and that's just what the NFC North decides to do. So you look at it here.
I think it's gonna change, Adam. I think it's gonna change.
How drastically do you think this is going to change? We have the Rams, Packers, Eagles, Bucks, Seahawks, Niners, and Bears would be the playoff teams right now. The Lions are 1 game back of the Bears at 8-5. The Lions and Bears do play each other again. The Panthers are sitting there. The Panthers and Bucks could flip, so the NFC South will get 1 team in. They are contractually obligated to get 1 team in. And the Cowboys are technically still in the hunt at 6-1. If the Eagles lose tomorrow, they're still in the hunt for the NFC East. So outside of the Lions flipping in and maybe the Bears or Niners flipping out, who do you think, what other change do you see?
All right, here's how I see the NFC changing. Cowboys, they're not making it. Kick them out. It's just the 2.
Okay.
Panthers versus Bucks. The Panthers have been getting better throughout the season. Bryce Young, I think, is figuring it out. He's had some really bad weeks. But I forget he's a young quarterback, and he looks like he has gotten better throughout the season. I think the Bucks have looked terrible. I'm done believing in them. They lost at home today to the Saints. That's inexcusable. You have 2 games against the Panthers.
Wait. Hold up. Losing at home to the Saints is inexcusable?
Yes.
Did the Panthers lose at home to the Saints?
I will also add this. The Saints sold at the deadline, and it's Tyler Shuck now. And I think the team is clearly just trying to lose. Whereas the Bucks have people coming back, and they should be getting better. I think the Bucks are on the decline. The Panthers, from that point, have gotten better. They look better. They have McMillan's a young receiver who's getting better, unlike Igbuka, who's only gotten worse. Bryce Young looks better, unlike Baker, who's only gotten worse. I trust them more. Honestly, I do. I never thought I'd say I trust the Panthers at all, but I do trust them more than the Bucks right now. So, they have the same record. They play twice. I think if the Panthers, I think they're at least splitting, but they're both going to have an easier schedule. Give me the Panthers. I'm going to have them replacing the Bucks. And I think the Lions get in. I thought Amon-Ra was going to be done for at least like 2-3 weeks. He played on Thursday, which is like 1 week he's like, oh, okay, I'm back. And he looked pretty good. Jahmyr Gibbs looks really good. And I think, the Lions, they don't have like the easiest schedule, but I think they could beat the Bears. And the Bears have a really tough schedule.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and also the Bears and the Niners play each other, so that's guaranteed. One of them to lose, and the Lions could then tie them and leap. And also, the Lions beat the Bears earlier this year by a lot. If the Lions beat them again, that's the tiebreaker goes their way.
Yeah, so they're the things I said. I said the Lions and Bears could flip, and I said the Panthers could maybe win the NFC South. So they're the 2 changes I said could happen.
I see both of those happen. I am predicting both of those things to happen, okay? I'm saying I am predicting both of those to happen. Not it can, I am actually saying it will.
So if the Panthers don't, you'll finally say you were wrong.
When I predict something and it's wrong, that's fine. When we say who have been the best, whatever, I'm not wrong because that's my opinion on who was the best, not
I know,
predicting who's going
but
to be.
now, so you're officially going on record.
I'm predicting that the Panthers win the division in a stunning way that would stun me. But look at the Bears. All right, Cleveland, you could win that game, but then it's again versus the Packers. That could go either way. The Niners could go either way, and then Detroit.
I just
I
like
don't really.
I like the way you said the Bears. They play Cleveland. It could go either way. I mean, I just like the way you said
I
it.
like Cleveland's defense. I do. I like their defense.
One
But
points to the Titans today.
now here's what I say with the Rams or the Lions. The Lions doesn't play the Rams. That's probably a loss, but could go either way. But probably a loss. Then the
No, I think the Lions could
Steelers.
easily flip with the Bears. I agree with you there. Yeah, I think that could
But
easily happen.
Lions have Steelers, Vikings, Bears. I could easily see them going 3-1 over that stretch. And the Bears, I could see them going 2-2. They'd have the same record. Lions get the tiebreaker. Lions get in. Bears once again miss out in heartbreaking fashion.
You think the Niners could fall out? You think that's a possibility?
Well, obviously it's possible. I just like the whole Niners infrastructure and coaching and them as a whole so much more than the Bears, who I'm still don't know if they're good or not.
Man,
Whereas I don't the
infrastructure,
Niners
pulling out the big Scrabble word.
which is what.
Infrastructure. It's a big Scrabble word. You can get a lot of points with infrastructure.
Thank you. The Niners every week, I'm like, I don't know. Then McCaffrey gets like 12 catches and scores 2 touchdowns, and then they're like halfway there to win, and they see like someone else to score a touchdown.
If the Bears would beat the Niners on Sunday night, there's a chance the Niners go 2-2.
True, the Niners could easily miss out. I think the Lions are going to get in because of that. That's a huge matchup, but. Also, for the Niners' perspective, if the Bears lose to the Lions, that helps the Niners as well. So, but the Panthers have Saints, Seattle, but Tampa twice. So, it really just comes down to the head-to-head. But they should win. It's in New Orleans, but the Saints aren't winning twice in a row. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. There we go.
Seattle might kill them. Seattle today just showed, against a bad team, they're going to destroy that offense.
I think when you look at it, I think the playoffs are set in the way that we're going to have 2 NFC North teams, 3 NFC West teams, 1 NFC East, 1 NFC South. No matter how that plays out, those are going to be the teams. So we'll just see how it all plays out. Plus, Seahawks-Rams going to be a fun race to see who gets the 1 seed. And the Packers are still sitting there, too, at 9-3-1. So,
I mean, if you told me a month ago that in the AFC South, the 2 teams that would make it would be the Jags and the Texans, I don't know if I could even fathom that.
I would have believed it. Well, I would have believed one of them. Jags are peaking right now.
I could have seen the Jags getting us a wild card. I could not have seen the Texans, who looked dead, and then Davis, CJ Stroud just got hurt, and the Colts were looking fine, and then
I've been manifesting this all year. Manifesting this Colts collapse all year. I didn't want it to be an Achilles tear. I just wanted it to be bad play, but
I still think if Jalen Jones is healthy, they'd still have as good a shot as the Chiefs. But
that schedule is brutal. Well, yeah, it's the Chiefs, absolutely. That schedule is brutal.
The Colts definitely had a way tougher second half, which leads to all this false hope, which is sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, let's see who exactly do they have here? Because they have the Niners. I know that coming up. Next week they have a big one, don't they? I feel like they do.
The Colts?
Yeah, they play the Seahawks. So they got to go to Seattle, then San Francisco, then Jacksonville and Houston. Yeah, that would have been brutal with Daniel Jones.
Without my least favorite team to play against in the league.
Yeah,
do you see
especially
the Chiefs Texans? Every hit you feel through the TV. Rasheed Rice got lit up on just a normal play. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're a tough team to play right now. You do not want to see them.
They're probably if the playoffs started and the Texans were in it, they'd probably be the team I'd be rooting for.
There you go.
Them or the Bills.
I wouldn't. I have a team I'd have to root for. But
I think the Bills, obviously I want Josh to win one. Besides that, in terms of the vibe of the whole team, I just love this team. No. So gritty.
Outside of Jacksonville in the AFC, there's one team I would root for. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Who's
New
that?
England. Drake May, Mike Vrabel. Whew.
I just feel like that fan base has had so much success, I don't ever need to root for them.
They have been suffering for years, Chris, man. Come on. They had Cam Newton. They had Mac Jones. Zappos played some quarterback for him. Jacoby Brissett was there. Long.
You
It's not
listed
like
a
they had.
bunch of names of people who either are like decent
Hey,
or
it's
were
not like they
decent.
had 18 years of a guy before that. This has been a
Right.
long tenured struggle for this franchise, Chris. They
This
deserve
is
this.
no, they'll be fine. But I the fact that Jacoby Brissett was terrible last year in the Patriots is just so baffling because right now he looks like a gunslinger who's lighting up any defense. Like I know that the team lost by a good bit.
Yeah, I
I
got
had to
killed.
start him in fantasy today, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy looks like Drew Brees out here. Like when the Saints were bad, they had no defense after the whole targeting
Mm-hmm.
people that might have happened. I don't know. I don't know.
Bounty Gate.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if that officially happened. Just rumors. I don't want to
Buddy, Sean Payton sat out a whole year and now he's still allowed to
But
coach. Interesting.
that was for he wanted to coach his son's high school team.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so when that maybe happened, the Saints were bad, and Drew Brees was just chucking. I feel like I'm watching that right now. It's Jacoby Brissett, Trey McBride, at least 5 catches a game. Michael Wilson looks like Larry Fitzgerald on the Cardinals. It's just insane right now.
But well, I hope they all get catches. They throw it like 50 times a game.
That's what I mean. That's
You know?
insane. Do you think Jacoby Brissett is powering this extremely pass-heavy offense? No.
Well, he's not really powering them. I don't know. When's the last time they won a game?
Listen, I don't think most quarterbacks, have done this. The fact that he is amazing considering it's Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been impressive.
Most
But a lot of
backups
it
come
is.
in, you hand the ball off, or you just do like little checkdowns, but he's like chucking it.
Yeah, but they can't run the ball. All their running backs are hurt.
That's a good point.
So
I'm honestly just like, Kyler couldn't have done this. Kyler couldn't have just chucked the ball 40 times a game.
Well, I think he could
I don't-
now. Which is what they've decided they were going to throw it 45, 50 times a game.
I honestly think Jacoby Brissett has looked so much better this year than Kyler has at any point
Oh
this
yeah,
season.
this year he has absolutely. I was saying
Yeah.
if they would ask him to throw 40, I think he could.
I just think he's like Kyler's surprisingly old now, but he doesn't have the maturity or the knowledge of a vet, so he's just declining athletically.
Yeah. Plus, there's also the thing with Jacoby Brissett that I think would happen with some backups would be we're not going to win anyway. So just sling it, buddy. Like you throw a pick, you throw a pick. Oh well, bud. We'll get
Get
next
Trey
time.
McBride some touchdowns, boost his numbers.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe their owner just has all their players on fantasy and said, "Coach, if you're not going to win, if you want to keep your job, sling it. We need it." So
I mean, I think on Thursday I want to do like a little segment of just like talking about some fantasy football. Most leagues next week starts the playoffs. I know our league's a little wonky here, but
I
it was
don't
a
pay
weird
attention
week.
to our league, so
Because your team was eliminated a long time ago.
But yeah, but you're going to be real upset if I start cutting some players. They're losing players, Chris. They're losing players. No one should want
You
them.
can't be cutting players. Listen, this is when like fantasy football either gets like amazing or terrible for people. Either you're winning and you feel like you're on top of the world, or like, oh, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, great all year. All of a sudden they both put up duds, even though Jonathan Taylor scored a touchdown. You're like, wow, how did
Hey,
that
you knew
happen?
Jonathan Taylor's dub was coming. We talked about this on Friday.
Listen, he's
Best
been putting
rushing
up.
defense in the league.
I said anytime
Best
he
rushing
scores a
defense.
touchdown, it's a dud. But he
Best
scored a
rushing
touchdown.
defense in the league. Best rushing defense in the league.
We found that out last week.
Yep. They're rolling. They're rolling down
Well,
there. in
actually, he
Duval
looked
County.
fine, but he did what James Cook did. Stop extending the ball an extra inch on like first down or first and goal.
James Cook's got a problem now. Like that's official. We could call it a real problem. Like this is very concerning.
You don't need to do the Michael Jordan reaching for the hoop in Space Jam. You don't do the Superman dive. If it's first or second down, just go down and don't fumble the ball.
What happened
You'll be
to the
fine.
dive protected? You used to always dive
Yeah.
with the ball like here.
Listen,
It's a
fourth
lost
down,
art.
do whatever you want. If you fumble, doesn't matter because if you didn't get it, it's a turnover anyways.
Mhm.
So fine. But James Cook first and goal is like reaching fumbles the second time because he did it earlier in the game, but the ball went out of bounds, not through the end zone. So I'm like, what's the point of I don't know. It was so dumb. Jonathan Taylor did that today. It was like second down. He's like doing the Superman lunge, and I'm like, I would have been happy with a third and inches. Get 2 chances, get the first.
Back in my day, ball security was job security. Nowadays, all these kids out there that are older than me are just going off. They're just driving around. Terrible.
And
All right, ready to get to our
frustrates
pain.
me.
Yeah, ready to get to our pain and panic and get out of here today, Chris. Very efficient episode this week. Very efficient.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like
we
it's
know what
really
we're
hard,
getting.
like
Yeah.
project. We're tightening up the storylines. The teams that we've talked about, it feels like the main ones are finally playing each other. So
Yeah.
we
The
see the
division
end is
games
near.
normally happen. Yeah. You normally get all the division matchups, which are important. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch here. But pain of the week, Chris.
Let's just after Pain and Panic. But I have a college football question for you. We could end the show with.
Okay. Well, my pain is college, but you can start. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Well, my pain of the week. Besides, actually, no, I'm just gonna go with this. Okay.
Hmm?
The Bears.
Aww.
I think, the Bears, I'm not predicting them too. I'm saying the Bears should still make the playoffs, and I think they don't care if they're the 1 seed or if they're like division leader. Like, I think the Bears are just happy with a playoff appearance, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But they've been dominated by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers for years. I think the Packers are like 17-1 in their last 18 or 18-1 now in their last 19.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. It's been rough. It's been rough for sure. And then the Packers, all their receivers come back and they go into, they're playing the Bears in this weird cold environment. And then it looks like the Bears have a chance at the end. Caleb throws a terrible pick to end the game. You had a chance. You really did. And also, if the Bears win this game, they're probably in the playoffs, like locked up.
Yeah.
Might maybe even knock the
They'd be the
Packers
1
out.
seed. They would be the 1 seed right now.
And the 1 seed, maybe knock the Packers out. Instead, same old thing. Ben Johnson said, like, I loved getting 2 wins against Matt LaFleur when he was on the Lions. Then LaFleur was like, I don't even know who he is. Obviously, I think you know who the other team's offensive coordinator
They're
is.
friends. Yes, they're friends.
Are they?
Joking. Yes.
Are they?
All NFL
Then I have a
coaches
complaint.
are somewhat
I have a complaint with
friends.
ESPN for posting that misleadingly. I don't know LaFleur,
All the coaches somewhat get along because it's a fraternity. Like they all like.
Yeah.
If Ben Johnson got fired, Matt LaFleur would probably hire him in a heartbeat. So
probably, but it hurts because you're like, it's that wall. If you can't beat that team, kind of like Penn State can't beat Ohio State. It's like that with the NFL, except I guess it's like that. Bears just can't beat the Packers.
Yeah, we'll see. They get them at home yet. They get them at Soldier Field, so we'll see if they'll be able to turn around Soldier Field. Ben Johnson's done a phenomenal job there. Like they looked good today, even though they lost. Like they played hard. They nearly screwed up the clock at the end though. They were letting way too much time go off. Like they were at the 5-yard line. They were at the 16. I'm like, okay, boys, we need a first down. Then we still need to score. Like let's calm down here. But no, loss is a loss. But you're still in it. But you're gonna have to win some tough games down the stretch. I think it's been a successful season nonetheless for Caleb in year 2. For me, my pain of the week, it's twofold. One, Notre Dame. You feel bad for the Fighting Irish who got left out of the college football playoff. You don't feel bad. The committee got it right. Miami deserved to be in over Notre Dame because they beat Notre Dame. How about that? Crazy. The games matter. How about that? But, you feel bad for them because the committee, and for lack of a better term, they were edging them the entire time, Chris. The entire time. That's what they were doing. They had them ahead of Miami every single week, and they were like, nope, Notre Dame's better. I'm like, okay, Notre Dame's in the playoff. We get to last week on Tuesday. They put out their final rankings before conference championship. Notre Dame's at 10, Miami's at 12. Neither team played this weekend. Notre Dame gets jumped by Miami because BYU lost 34-7 in their conference championship game. Neither team played BYU. It makes no sense why this is being a comparative metric because BYU got killed. But Notre Dame gets left out, so feel bad for Notre Dame fans right now. Not really, but feel a little bad for them. But the people I also feel bad for are Notre Dame haters. You know why? Notre Dame also sore losers. They're opting out of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is honestly better than the college football playoff. The Pop-Tarts Bowl is awesome. And they would have played BYU, which is like my dream matchup. Mormons versus Catholics, give it to me. All I want. But Notre Dame haters are also very mad today. You know why? Because it came out today that starting next year, if Notre Dame is ranked inside the top 12, they are guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff. That next year, if this same thing happened, they would have been in and Miami would have been out because they are contractually would have been in. Because if they said if Notre Dame is ranked in the top 12, since they're not in a conference, they're guaranteed a spot. Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. But yeah, so that would have happened. So now all Notre Dame haters are mad because they're like, you're kidding me? So basically, why would they schedule a game? Just play nobody, go undefeated, and you'll be 12-0 and be in the top 12. Yeah, so Notre Dame fans are mad. Notre Dame haters are mad. I'm just laughing here because my prediction was right all along, Chris. You remember back in our college football episode, I made a prediction, a bold prediction. I said that Clemson and Penn State would play in the postseason. I was right. Pinstripe Bowl, Penn State, Clemson, just how we drew it up. New York City, Yankee Stadium. It's exactly what I predicted. I didn't predict them to play in Miami for a national title. Nope, Pinstripe Bowl.
Adam, I completely forgot about that because it was the college episode. It is amazing. You did predict that Penn State and Clemson would be playing in the postseason. That's a great job by you. Yep. I saw Notre Dame isn't playing in the bowl game. That's so stupid. It's so lame.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad. Like, a lot of them were going to opt out anyway, because, like, Jeremiah Love's going to be a high-round pick as a running back, so, like, it makes sense for him to opt out. But, like, I felt bad when, like, people don't think about this. Like, the seniors on that team that aren't going to the NFL, like, they're college football players. They're going to go, maybe coach, go into the workforce. They found out today that their last college football game was last week, and they had no idea. I said, I feel bad for those kids who are never going to play football again. That could be like, man, I would have loved one more game, and they don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's just like a baby move, like, oh, because you didn't get in the playoffs, you're just not going to play. That's like, who was it? Someone like was going to do a 3-point contest, and then they're like, I'm only going to do the 3-point contest if I'm an all-star. So then they feel obligated to make them an all-star. So like, Pete Alonso does that. He's like, I'm not going to do the home run derby unless I'm an all-star. Well, Pete, you're not that good. So,
Plus, it's a fan vote, dude. It's a fan vote. Stop.
Yeah, I think like it's part but it's not always the fan vote. Not even a starter, but like the coaches do like the bench and stuff. Like, Pete, you weren't good enough to be an all-star, but you're powerful, you're energetic, and you hit home runs. So like, if you don't want to go, fine. But I just hate when they're like, I'm only gonna do this because of this, and it's like you can still play the bowl game like every other school does.
Plus, the Pop-Tarts Bowl's awesome. It's literally the best bowl game. The Pop-Tart dances. You eat a Pop-Tart if you win. You're going to play BYU, which has been a lot of fun. Like, why don't we play the... I love the Pop-Tarts Bowl. No, love it.
Yeah, I think that was stupid. That was my question, was where do you stand on it? What I was hearing is people think Notre Dame is better, but Miami had a better resume.
If Notre Dame played Miami now, I do believe Notre Dame would win. But... it doesn't matter what I think. The two teams played and Miami won. So, like,
that was week 1.
Yeah, but you can't just throw the game away. Then why would they ever schedule the game?
No, I know. It was week 1 was a long time ago. So a lot is probably, like, feel differently.
The big conversation...
I think it is weird that you get jumped when neither one of you play.
Yeah, the big conversation was Alabama, who I thought deserved to be in because their resume says it. But Alabama has not played well. They lost 28-7 in the SEC championship game.
I actually watched it. I didn't watch it, but I saw the outcome of that game. I kept up with that, Adam.
Georgia smacked them. But like that would have been one where there would have been a conversation. But yes, in my mind, Miami should have been ranked ahead of Notre Dame the entire time. But they weren't, so I don't understand. The committee found a way to do it wrong and get it right at the same time. Their process was wrong, but they got it right, which I guess some people can say, congratulations, you got it right, which is the important thing. But at the same time, get it right the entire time, and Notre Dame's probably not mad. They would have accepted it, but now they had this false hope that they were going to get in. So,
yeah, I could see, like, I would be mad too if I was a Notre Dame fan, but I feel like most people are saying Miami was, like, the right team. Based on, like,
they were. Because they played in Miami beat them. That's just how it has to go. And their metrics are almost identical. So, like, you have to reward that. So
I think it's a very good, like, if it's their similar teams, the tiebreaker should be, like...
Now, granted, Reese Davis said something on the show today that this was the toughest and most controversial decision in playoff history. That is completely wrong. They left an undefeated Florida State team out of the playoff because their quarterback was hurt. That was way more controversial than this one. Let's just get that out there. They left an undefeated ACC champion out. So,
yeah, I do remember that, and I'm not even into that much. I saw I'm looking at the bracket now, Adam. So let's just do our little
Madison and Tulane.
Yeah, how was James Madison? Like, who was James Madison? I don't know.
I love James Madison, first of all. Big Dukes fan. James Madison, actually, where Curt Cignetti came, who's the head coach at Indiana, he came from James Madison, so he's built Indiana up immediately after leading. Bob Chesney's a phenomenal coach. He's from Pennsylvania, so soft spot for him. But the reason James Madison's in is because the 5 highest-ranked conference champions automatically get in. Well, the team that won the ACC this year was Duke, who went 8-5. So Duke got left out. James Madison was ranked higher than Duke. So that's why James Madison's in instead of the ACC champion. Miami, who's an ACC team, is in, but they're an at-large team. So that's how James Madison's in. Tulane was also higher ranked. They're from the American Conference. They're ranked 19th or 20th. So Yeah, so that's
Because
how
when I
those two
see
teams are
those
in.
teams involved, I'm just like, how are they? I've never seen them involved in
Mhm.
the playoffs in quite some time.
You got a
Another
prediction?
thing,
You got a
yeah.
prediction? Who's going to win? Yeah. You got a prediction?
Oh, do I have one?
Yeah.
No, but
Who do you
I
think?
do think it's interesting. Tulane, Ole Miss. Ole Miss just lost Lane Kiffin, so I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting. Like, does the
Tulane
team
and Ole
fall
Miss.
apart, or
Yeah.
do they,
Tulane and Ole
fight
Miss
with
played this year.
vengeance? What's
Tulane and Ole
up?
Miss played this year. Tulane and Ole Miss actually played
Who
this
won?
year. Ole Miss won like 41-14.
How did Tulane make it? What was their criteria that they were they
They
did they
were
win the
high
conference?
conference champion. Yeah, the American.
Yeah.
The ACC got left out, so
Um.
two group of five teams
So
got in.
what's different this year, which I like. So even though Ohio State did not win the Big Ten because Indiana
They still
beat
get the
them
five.
at the end of the game when Ohio State missed the field goal,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State is still ranked second as the 2 seed, so
Yes.
they get the bye.
Yep. Same with
Last year
Georgia
they
and
wouldn't have
Texas
gotten
Tech.
the bye because
No, they
all
would
the
have been the
conference
5 seed.
champions got the bye.
Yes, they would have been the 5 seed.
Okay.
Actually, Ohio State fans are actually a little upset because they actually think Texas A&M and they think that the Texas A&M Miami draw is harder than the Ole Miss Tulane draw. So they actually would have rather been the 3 seed, and Georgia have jumped them after winning the SEC. Didn't happen for them. But I said it's actually funny. That rule was changed because 1 seed Oregon actually got screwed because they had to play Ohio State in their first round. Well, like Penn State played Boise State
Yeah.
and Texas played Arizona State. So Oregon, as the only undefeated team, got screwed by it. But now they fix it, which I actually think is funny because Oregon was the 1 seed last year and had probably the hardest draw. They're now the 5 seed this year and have arguably the most favorable draw. So
Yeah, James Madison. Well, Texas Tech. I actually watched randomly a game of theirs
They
the other
look
day.
good.
Or was it last week?
They're good.
I enjoyed it, Adam. It was a fun time.
They're really good. But do you want to stab a prediction? Who you think's going to win it all?
Ohio State just lost, but I actually always like having a team that's lost before, like, once the season. It takes all the pressure off. If you're undefeated and you're trying to get the perfect season, it's just a pain. Like, it sounds nice, but they know they're making the playoff. And if you just lose, it's like, if you just get that out of the way, you can just win. They did this last year. They lost to Michigan right before the playoffs. And that was, like, devastating, but, like,
Do you remember the
right.
score of the Michigan-Ohio State game last year?
No.
13-10 on a missed field goal.
Oh, my God. Well, this
Same
year,
score. Same score.
lose, miss field goal, same score. Maybe same thing happens. I don't know much about college like you, Adam. However, I know Ohio State is good. So, I don't know. I like Texas Tech because of the one time I watched them. So I'm going to pick Texas Tech versus Ohio State. Ohio State wins.
There you go. I have Ohio State defeating Oregon in the national championship. That'd be my national.
Not James Madison.
Now, I'm rooting for James Madison. Hard. No one's rooting harder for the
If you to
Dukes.
pick, or tell me how many. So no, last year like SMU made it, but like there was no shot they were going to win. You know what I mean? How many of those teams do we have this year? We were like, they don't even need to be in this playoff bracket.
James Madison's not winning it. Tulane's not winning it. Outside of that, like I could convince. I don't think Miami can win it. I could convince myself they can. I don't think they can. A&M can. Oklahoma cannot. I don't think Oklahoma or Alabama can win the national championship. I don't think it can happen. Their offenses are just. They're not offensively. They do not have it. So I would actually say they can't. I mean, they have the talent to. I just can't. I just would be really surprised. It would be a complete 180 what we've seen from those teams over the last few weeks.
So if you had to include like another team, who would you have included in this playoff? Notre Dame.
And Vanderbilt could have had an argument too, but Vanderbilt lost Alabama, so they were never jumping Alabama.
Yeah. So I lost count. How many people do you think are actually a real contender in this playoff?
Well, Indiana, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Oregon, A&M. I think there's 6.
You don't have
I don't
Ole
think
Miss?
Ole Miss. Without Lane, I have my concerns offensively for them. So plus Pete Golding, he's a first-time head coach. Pete Golding hasn't been a head coach, so like your first. I mean, having Tulane's nice, but like your first run as a head coach is going to be in a college football playoff setting. You got to play Georgia in the second round. Like, it's not going to be easy.
So how many was that? 6?
6, yeah.
Okay, last year. Do you remember how many you had, or do you want me to read you the bracket from last year?
I remember the bracket. So Oregon, Oregon could have. Georgia, no. Georgia couldn't have last year because they lost their quarterback in the SEC championship game. Boise State couldn't. Arizona State could. Texas could. Penn State could. Notre Dame obviously could. Let's see, who else? That's the
Ohio
7.
State.
Ohio State, yes. So that's 5. Tennessee couldn't last year. Indiana couldn't last year. SMU couldn't last year, and Clemson. Yeah, so there was 5 last year. So there's actually one more team in my mind that could win it.
Okay. Well, I think if Georgia was healthy, you'd probably say yes. So like 6
Yeah,
might
Georgia
be the
had
right
their
number.
quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. 6
They
might be
actually
the
had
right
their
number.
They actually had Gunnar Stockton, who's the quarterback this year, was the quarterback, but it was his first start. So it was like, you weren't going to see it. But yeah, they lost their quarterback, so I didn't have any faith in them. But
Well, you heard it here, college football playoffs. Adam recommends 6 teams make it. Just do 2 buys. And
well,
then,
no, I think 16 teams should make it. So
you think 16?
Yep, and I think there should be automatic qualifiers. I think 4 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams, 2 ACC teams, 2 Big 12 teams, 1
I
group
don't
of
like
5
that,
teams,
'cause
3
then-
at-larges.
Because what if like the last team sucks in the Big Ten?
No buys. Well, I like it because then we can get rid of subjectivity. Like, why?
I don't think you should like limit it that much. I think there should be like, clear guidelines more so of like you need to have this,
Or
and
just
this.
do this. Or there should either be set guidelines or no guidelines. We just got to figure it out. Either set or none. Let's just figure it out and let's go from there.
They're not going to want less playoff games because that's just less revenue. However, I did like 4 didn't seem like enough, but I did like the idea of like, wow, this is the best of the best. There weren't many like terrible teams that ever made it, whereas
Yeah,
like
but they
with the
screwed it
expanded
up a lot.
playoffs-
They screwed it up a lot, though.
Playoffs, you're gonna have some dud games because some teams aren't that good, but they get it anyways.
Same in the
And if they
NFL.
expand it more, it's gonna be like,
it happens
with
in the
what?
NFL every year. It happens in the NFL every year. We have games where it's like, yeah, that team's not winning. Come on now. Like, why are we playing the game?
I just think that in football we've seen some like miracle wins like that. Where in like, I just don't think we're gonna see it. I don't know. I think college there's a bigger gap.
Well, you got to realize if they expanded to 16, Texas would have been in, who went 9-3 and has 3 wins over the top 10 teams in the country.
Okay.
So, like, that would have been a way for them to get in. Vanderbilt would have got in, who's a great story. They have one of the best offenses in the country. There's teams that USC would have got in, maybe. There's definitely teams there that had an argument. So, Utah and BYU would have got in. That would have been fun.
I just like the feel of a smaller playoff because, like, obviously the more teams sounds good, but I'm like, you want to make it exclusive. You want this like very like elite level, and you want teams to feel like they missed out. You know what I mean? You don't want to feel like everyone got in.
Yeah, but hey, let's talk. What is the most popular playoff format in the country?
You're probably gonna say college basketball.
Yes.
I think what's better about college is like no one really knows all these teams, or like, people are able to keep up with all these football teams more so than the basketball teams.
Well,
So the basketball teams, and also because it's the nature of basketball, I think there's so much variance in basketball where there's more of these upsets, and it's like they're all happening at once, and like each game doesn't feel as big. Where in college, each game is like
you
3
would
hours.
see you would
alone.
see upsets. You would see upsets. I would tell you that it's not just going to be the best team.
I know, but I think college it's literally meant to be madness, whereas college football is meant to be like who's really the best team. Or in college, it's like what team kind of just gets on a lucky Cinderella run,
Well,
or
also-
even it's not Cinderella run, just gets on a run.
Here's why you expand to 16. No buys. Everyone gets a home game. All 8 top seeds get a home game, which will be big revenue for the schools. That's how you convince them to go to 16.
I know, but you could increase revenue by doing more games, more whatever. And like, I get that, so you don't want to do less, but I'm like, I don't want to have too many teams making it. Because then it takes like, then the first round wouldn't have any meaning anymore. It's just going to be like, okay, now the next round's when I'm actually watching like the playoffs. The first round feels like.
First round would still matter. Like, you'd still have the 8 versus 9 game. Oklahoma-Alabama is the biggest game of the first matchup, and that game would still happen. Miami-Texas A&M is still happening. Like, those
I feel
games
like
would still
anything
happen.
more than 8 is when it's just like. I think the buys work with like the 12, but.
You know how many teams get in the NFL? 14. You know how many teams get in the college? 14 out of 32. In college football, it's right now 12 out of 136.
But I just think the gap between these teams is so much less than the NFL, where in college we've seen like some just teams where it's like
Well, yeah, there's
get their
definitely the gaps
doors blown
closer.
off.
But no, you should just go to 16. Everyone gets a home game. Everyone's happy. We get more games. We get more people watching. Plus, upsets would happen. That's how it happens. You remember Ohio State looked unbeatable last year, but right before they made the playoff, they lost to a 7-win Michigan team.
That I don't think is a normal situation. That is
Well,
a
they lost to them
rivalry
4
that goes
times in a
back
row.
generations. You know what I mean? Like
Bama lost to Oklahoma, who won 4 games. They lost to Vanderbilt, who went 7-5 last year. Ole Miss lost to Florida. Texas lost to Florida this year, went 4-8.
I'm not the college expert like you, Adam. I'm just saying more so from like an outsider perspective. I don't want more teams making the playoffs. You know what I mean? Especially in college. Like I want
I'm
just
asking
seeing
for
the best.
4 more teams and no buys. Just for
No, but so then that's like so many more first round games.
Yeah, it goes from 4 to 8. It's not that many.
That's double. That's double.
Chris, there's 64 games a week. There's 64.
That's too many for me.
Yeah. Well, that's for you. I'm talking for people that want to watch the college football playoff.
I don't think adding more teams is going to actually add to the product. I think it's going to give people more product that could make more money, but I think it'd be better just like...
So you think it's better right now that James Madison's in and Notre Dame's out?
I'd rather swap them.
Okay,
I don't want it.
So, let's swap them. So James Madison's in. BYU would be in. But what about Vanderbilt and Texas, who would have an argument that they're better than those teams? They're sitting there.
Adam, I like that teams feel like they get kicked out and they want to be in. That's how I like the playoffs. Being like, oh, we missed it. I don't want every good team that has a chance to get in. You know what I mean? Like,
so you don't want good teams to get in because
have a better regular season then. Like,
but Vanderbilt has the same record as Notre Dame. So how is Notre Dame better than Vanderbilt? Who says that?
I don't actually know because I don't watch teams play. I'm saying I like that there's teams that feel like they should have gotten in.
Yeah, there still will be. You get to 16, I guarantee the 17th team's going to feel like they should have been in.
I know, but like
Duke argued they should have got in.
I just am like, all right, like they're not going to actually win though. You know what I mean? Whereas
I don't disagree. Vanderbilt could easily go in and win it. I wouldn't have been surprised.
The national championship?
I mean, they could win through the playoff. They'd eliminate someone that we think could win the national championship.
I think it should be an exclusive level to make the playoffs. And there should be many teams being like, we should have got in, we actually had a good chance. You know what I mean?
I'm leaving 120 teams out of the thing. I think it's exclusive. I think it's exclusive.
I think there's a clear, like, but there's not 120 actual teams. It's like that are actually really have a real chance.
Yeah, there's like 50 actual teams, and I'm leaving out 34. I'm leaving.
But with all the bowl games and stuff, they're fine.
Chris, you realize the bowl games are dead now. If Notre Dame opted out, everyone's opting out. If they don't want to play, no one's going to start playing.
I feel like the bowl games still have meaning, honestly. Like they're always on. You know what I mean?
Well, they're on, but now that people are like, man, why would we do this? Just expand the playoff, get rid of the bowl game.
Rose Bowl win have no meaning to you?
Against Utah? Well, that meaning to me, I guarantee there's a lot of people that said it didn't. That was in a 14 playoff format now. Now we're in a 12-team playoff format.
Still. I think bowl games still matter.
Plus, because here's the thing. This will happen if Penn State, they play in the Pinstripe Bowl. Last season, a bunch of fans spent a lot of money to watch them play a home playoff game, go play in the Fiesta Bowl, and go play in the Orange Bowl. Are they going to spend money to go watch them play in New York this year as 6-16?
I would not, because I think the team sucks. But
I'm going to go watch them. Dang right, baby.
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium.
I'm not watching this team that, was preseason AP number 2.
Yeah. But hey, they got a new coach, Matt Campbell.
How does that work? He's not going to coach this game.
No, Terry Smith will coach. Terry Smith's going to coach the team.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's going to be doing during that game. Is he just
going to be watching? Yeah, he'll be on the sideline. He'll watch the game. Terry Smith is his new assistant coach, so, I mean, he'll be there to support him.
Do you think there's going to be any, like, weirdness? Or do you think Terry Smith is going to be like, hey, I'm the assistant, you're the head coach? Or is it going to be like some players are looking at Terry like,
Terry will do his job. Terry? Terry's going to have all new players, so he'll do his job.
Do you think everyone's going to leave?
Not everyone. A lot of them. Because Matt Campbell's going to bring in his...
Are we going to take all of Iowa State's players?
They're going to take a lot of them. Welcome to college football.
So we are now going to be Iowa State. West Virginia is gonna be like a lot of Penn State.
Well, Virginia
Luckily
Tech,
for
not West Virginia. Virginia
Oh, I'm
Tech.
sorry, Virginia Tech. I think luckily for Penn State, a lot of like these guys that I'm attached to at least and know the names of were seniors. So
Yeah.
like it's not like they're taking my children. It's like, oh, they graduated and left. I
They
guess
might
it's
take the
weird.
guy who shares your name,
That's
Luke
okay.
Reynolds. Yeah.
That's okay. He was little bit of a letdown. I
Yeah.
wanted him to be Tyler Warren 2.0.
He had a bad year. Andrew Rapplier outplayed him by a lot. So, all right, Chris, you want to get to the panic of the week now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, who do you got? Who you panicking about these days?
Let me think. I don't know. I was saying this last week. I'm just running out of teams to panic on because I feel like
That's
we
about
know
to be a
who's making the
team.
playoffs. We
You
know
can
who's
panic about
not.
Baker. You can panic about Baker.
Yeah, but like that was weeks ago. He's been terrible for so long. I would pick Chicago, but I already picked them. Let's see. I'm gonna pick actually. All right, I'm between two. I'm gonna pick the Commanders or the Colts. Which one do you want?
Why have the Colts so you can take the Commanders?
All right, I'll pick the Commanders then. For the Commanders, you had all this fun energy from last season. You go to the NFC Championship. You blow everyone's mind. You're like, oh my gosh, we made it. And Jaden Daniels looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The season from the start just was not working.
Nope.
Rough out of the gate. Offense didn't look right. Jaden Daniels got hurt 3 times, 4 if you count today. That's not great, especially when, one of the fears drafting was injury prone Jaden Daniels, who's a smaller guy. And around him, they saw a bunch of old guys on the team who were more likely to get hurt. I think defensively, they weren't great. Offensive line isn't great. And they just don't have anyone young around him that's going to improve the situation. So it feels like everything's going down. The vibe was off,
Mm-hmm.
and the team got worse. The only good thing is really Jaden Daniels. Terry McLaurin is fine. He's had some decent games, but like even he was gone most of the year. Debo was a fine addition. I don't think he really changed much. I'm just thinking like, what is this team going to be next year? I don't think it's going to be that good. And if Jaden gets hurt, it's going to be terrible.
I'd
So
be panicking about Jaden.
as long as Jaden's healthy, I still think he's going to be a really good quarterback. I think it's just
That's what they said about another guy who played in Washington and had injury problems.
I'm gonna not assume it's gonna be that drastic because I think Jaden last year was just so good, and he did more than just run. I think like that was a special season with a real achievement. I just don't think the team around him has improved in any way, and I think they have to do a big rebuild around Jaden Daniels now. But I think him winning all these games last year, getting the SC championship, made them feel like a contender when they probably should just do a rebuild around him.
I told you this at the beginning of the year when they built the oldest team in the league. I'm like, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make
It's
sense.
tough because when you have this young quarterback on a cheap deal, this is your best time to try to win. Yet, you probably only got this really good young quarterback because the team sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have a lot of holes, and they didn't plug them. They just got older. So we'll see how it works for them in the future. But I'm panicking, as I said, about the Indianapolis Colts. This isn't really about this year, because I think this year is going off the rails now with the injury to the quarterback. It's really about some decisions they've made and what they have to make. So they made a decision to trade 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, really 2 first and a second, because they also traded A.D. Mitchell on top of it. So they made a very interesting trade and got rid of the draft capital that could help, fill some holes on this team that they have, because they're still not a flawless team. And Daniel Jones tearing his Achilles also adds a wrench in it that, Daniel Jones needs a new contract next year. How much money is he going to ask for? How much money are you going to give him off an Achilles?
Didn't he already get the big extension?
He might have signed. I thought when I was listening to the game today that he hadn't signed, but because they were saying about like he was on a 1-year deal, but he could have signed up. But if he signed up, then that might be even worse because that's a lot of money that you've.
I guess he had. I guess he didn't sign it yet. I know that for a
thought there was
while.
reports. I remember that. Yeah, there were reports about it.
I guess there was no deal yet.
Yeah, they're still negotiating.
So here's also what I'll say. Like, where is Anthony Richardson in all this?
He's on IR. Remember, he had the orbital injury and warm-ups when he ran into that
smacked his face with the band. I didn't realize he was gonna be gone for this long. I thought it was gonna be like minimum time.
See,
is that what this is? Because I was like, all right,
orbital, that's your eye. So
I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened. We have no idea. He smacked himself in the face with a band.
Yeah, he's on IR. So
must have been a very strong band.
Be Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard. Notre Dame
He actually
quarterback.
didn't look
Riley
bad
Leonard.
today, Adam.
Yeah, well, he looked bad for a while. He had a good drive at the end, but
No, I thought he had some good drives. I think he threw a touchdown to Michael Pittman that they stupidly called offensive pass interference on, which was soft.
full
And then
extension.
after the play, no. And then after the play, he gets shoved in the back. They don't call that. And then he takes out a poor little worker on the side.
Yeah,
We texted about that. That was the hardest hit of the day.
dang right. That's what them Jags do. We play tough. We play physical. You don't walk into Duval when you haven't won there in a decade and expect just to be handed a win. That curse is real. That curse is real.
Sure.
Ever since that fan made that little song about let's break the curse, hasn't happened yet. Keep fighting, boys. Yeah, but nah, there's a lot of concerns now. So, like, what do they do with Daniel Jones? How much money do they give him? They because Danny Dimes, like, he could be back for the start of the season, but he's coming off an Achilles, so and he's a mobile.
He's not going to be back for the start of next season.
A 9-month recovery. 9 months gets him to about
Is it really
August.
9 months? I feel like it's always at least a year. Like, we see
For
people
quarterbacks,
try to
it's been
come
9
back.
months. Aaron Rodgers almost came back in one season.
How did that work out?
Well, he didn't come back.
He came
remember?
back the next year. He was terrible. Kirk Cousins came back the next year. He was terrible. I think you might need more time. Especially
So are they
Daniel
gonna
Jones, who runs a little bit more than those
But
guys.
are they going to pay him a lot of money to sit? Because they can't draft a quarterback. They don't have their first-round pick.
I feel like this is a clear Flacco team. Flacco liked it there, I think, and they bring him back.
Going to be really old next year.
I know,
Well,
but
this
if he
year's gonna be
stays in the league,
really
why
old
not? I
next
think Daniel Jones, honestly, Jameis and Russ, one of them's probably gonna go, maybe Giants, but you're gonna want to keep Daniel Jones on the team. I think he'd want to stay, and I think he's gonna understand. Like, Daniel Jones already got his money in life to be set. I think he's gonna understand he doesn't deserve a big contract, but he was falling apart this season, and then had broken leg and a torn Achilles.
Yeah, but someone's going to give him a lot of money. So is it going to be Indianapolis or is it going to be someone else?
Who's
Someone's
going to give him a lot of money?
There's
other
a
team's
quarterback desperate. Vegas won't pay for him right now. Vegas
not
won't
off
pay
a
for him.
torn Achilles.
I think they would. Look, you realize there are quarterback-hungry teams out there that just pay money for whatever they want? Kirk Cousins got a bunch off.
But he's not even going to
down.
get a practice with the team the whole offseason because he's going to have a torn Achilles.
I know, but someone will pay him and say, we'll get him in October.
I think he should stay in Indianapolis, take
I think
a
he should,
cheap
too.
1-year deal, and then...
But also, though, is Daniel Jones, he'll probably want security because he probably won't want 1 year because that puts a lot of pressure on him to get back and play, and that's how he rushes back.
I don't know. I don't see that. I don't think there's going to be a huge Daniel Jones market after, 10 or probably 8 great weeks, and then some mediocre weeks, and then a complete, just line of injuries.
I know, but someone's going to pay him. Someone always does. They always come around to pay. You're
I
talking
wouldn't be stunned if he gets more than, 20 million.
Remember Justin Fields' deal we talked about?
That was the Jets.
So the Jets won't pay him?
No, they have to pay Justin Fields.
Yeah, but they could send money at him. Someone's going to send money.
I mean, Justin Fields, too, is the cheapest quarterback.
Yeah. Steelers are going to need a quarterback probably next year.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's teams need quarterbacks, and someone's going to say,
I just don't think everyone's going to be giving out $30 million contracts to Daniel Jones again. We saw how that turned out.
Well, $30 million would probably be somewhat of a steal. That'd be a cheap deal for a quarterback.
A year? $30 million a year?
For a quarterback? The average quarterback
Daniel
salary
Jones,
is $48 million. Tua makes 55. Tua makes...
Well, we know that quarterbacks just get ridiculous steals all the time when they're young.
Yeah, so
people want to
getting
pay
$30 million for
better.
a quarterback would be a steal in the modern salary cap market. Right now, he's making 20.
Justin Fields is right now making $20 million.
Yeah,
a year.
Daniel Jones deserves more money than Justin Fields.
I think
he said he's had multiple good years.
Let's
You're
see
the
what
guy who
Russell
said he had
Wilson
multiple
made.
good years.
Russell contract.
Well, okay,
All right.
there's a big difference there on age too with Russell Wilson.
Russ 1 year, $10 million.
Well, Russ is 37 years old, 38.
Jameis 2 years, $8 million. I'd rather have
Winston's
Jameis.
also 4 years older than Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones age.
He's what?
Daniel Jones is only 28.
Yep.
But he's gonna be 30 by the time he comes back.
He's not 2 years out.
I think this is a year injury of before you're in back to playing, and then you have to actually
he's
get
back
to
in
football
October,
level.
so he is playing by week 7 next year.
That's assuming everything goes fine. Hey, let's see. Sam Darnold, I don't think he's getting more money than Sam Darnold. There's
Well,
no
no, he
way.
won't get more money than Sam Darnold.
Sam
What's
Darnold
Sam Darnold?
makes $33 million a year.
Okay, so he'll make around 27 to 28.
I told you he's not getting 30. That was what I said. I said he's not getting 30. You said 30 would be a steal. I don't think that's a steal. I don't think he's
In the modern quarterback market, Sam Darnold's most underpaid player in the league.
Probably.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is making
$55
million.
Another side note: the Falcons are so bad. Oh my gosh, they're the worst watch I've seen.
They've actually played well in the first half. They hung around.
They have athletes that I love to watch. Bijan, yeah. Kyle Pitts on paper sounds amazing. Kirk Cousins throws it, and it's either a pick just to the other team blatantly, or it's just bobbled by 3 people. And even Bijan fumbled, and I'm like, I think it's just this terribleness is spreading to the good players.
Need a new coach?
It's terrible to watch. I hate watching the Falcons.
Need a new coach. We've been saying it for weeks.
Raheem Morris has not had a good track record, so I think we might have to. I'm fine with him being there as a Saints fan for the upcoming future, but he's not going to be there. They're probably going to get someone else who's good, but
they need someone else.
Yeah.
They could get your old offensive coordinator probably.
Kubiak?
He's going to be hot on the market with what Seattle's doing this year.
I thought that was going to be the problem last year because he started off the year so hot. Then he kind of had a rough stretch.
Well, yeah, but as Saints offense versus, now in Seattle, they're booming. Business is booming in Seattle.
So, Raheem Morris on the Tampa Bay Bucks. 2009, 3-13. Rough start. But you know what? First year. Second year, 10-6. Oh, wow. But it was a good NFC back then.
Josh Freeman was the quarterback. They
were third in the NFC South because 2010. Then 2011, fall off 4-12. Gets fired. Then 2020 goes 4-7. At the time they were still rebuilding. The last year you get Kirk, you get all these teams, you go 8-9. I feel like you probably should have been at least 900 last year. Yeah, I think they're a talented team. This year, 4-9. That's ridiculous. And they've had one of the easiest schedules.
Yeah. Penix has been banged up. That hasn't helped. But
I know, but he was still playing for a lot of the year. And, even with Penix, they weren't looking great at all. Penix was the guy they drafted with them, so.
They've been in a lot of games. They've been right there. The New England game.
What's the phrase, being close only helps in, horseshoes or something?
Horseshoes and hand grenades, yeah.
Oh, I don't think my mom told me that part. Hand
close grenades. Only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
All right, well, we can wrap up here. I feel like, the last, 40 minutes just went by so quickly, but time to go to bed and get ready for tomorrow's riveting game. Eagles, Chargers. Adam, I think we both have the Eagles winning.
Nope, you have the Chargers.
If the Chargers win this game.
You have the Chargers.
Do I have the Chargers?
Yes, you picked the Chargers.
Wow.
You're trying
if
to
the
come
Chargers
back.
win, it's probably over for the Chiefs. And if the Eagles win, definitely over for the Cowboys, but probably not anyways. I just think it's going to be an ugly game. The Chargers have not had a decent-looking offense in a little bit. Herbert's playing with a broken left hand. Omarion Hampton's coming back from a broken ankle. The receivers of Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen, and Ladd McConkey were all looking great, and now it's weirdly, Ladd's kind of looks better, but everyone else looks worse. They don't have either of their tackles. I don't really know what to expect from the Chargers team, but the Eagles play down to any opponent.
No Jalen Carter.
I don't know what to expect. No Jalen Carter, and without him, the Eagles have no pass rush. I think it could go either way. I really do. I'm saying I think the Chargers will win, but the Eagles could beat anyone or lose to anyone.
Yep. Which broadcast are you watching?
I'm going to check out the Monsters, Inc. one. That sounds pretty cool. My issue with the Disney Plus ones is, sometimes you just, you want to see the specifics. You want to see, them catch the ball. You know what I mean? Maybe for the run plays it doesn't matter, but, you just miss the movement of the players and, how quick they are, how athletic they are. But I understand if you just want to, watch this goofy thing. It's pretty fun.
It's for kids. It's to get little kids into it. But
I don't know.
I'll watch it. It's going to be fun. I remember when the Jags did it for Toy Story football when they were in London. That was awesome. I was trying to think, what celebration can they do for Monsters Inc.? Can they do one outside of maybe the Sully dance from Monsters
So
University?
I was about to say that was the first one I thought was
You could do the
there
lasso
was.
too. You could do the lasso into them.
Yeah, I think they'd have to do that. I think like when someone scores, they're definitely gonna have a scare meter on like the side, like the
Well, yeah.
the little
I was
the
trying to
bottle
think because
can, the scare can. It's gonna like
like,
go all the way red and
mhm.
explode or whatever.
But the Jags in real life did the whole Andy's coming and all fell down when they
Yeah.
scored. Like in real life, they did. I'm trying to think, what are the actual
What would the
players gonna
players
do?
do?
Yeah, like can the players do
I just
something to
think
play
you
off
could
of it?
easily do like one player is like this, the other one goes, "Ah," and then like the kid goes, "Ah," you
Yeah,
know what I mean? I
yeah.
think we need some teamwork, but we could do like some reenacting of like
Mhm.
scaring a kid.
Yeah, you
What's interesting to me is in the Monsters Inc. world, we're still thinking of them as scarers. However, by the end of the movie, they're just making you laugh.
yeah.
So I'm curious with the broadcast because now there's a Monsters Inc. show where it's laughing.
I think they're
Um,
playing off of the show. I think because I think that's what it's being advertised as, but
So
I do
we'll
not
see.
know.
I'm not very invested, but I am a Disney guy, so I need to see because I think like if my mom's like, "Who are these characters? Why is it like being funny?" Because I think most people still think of it as a scaring type of
Mhm.
thing, and I
Yeah,
think it was smart to have the prequel movie be about scaring because like that is more interesting, you know?
yeah. I would love for them to do Mike Wazowski's stand-up comedy as the halftime show.
They could do that. You know what they should do? They should have saved Monsters at Work like season premiere or something and done that at halftime.
Yeah,
You're watching the broadcast, and like the season finale or the season like premiere just starts during halftime. By the time that's done, have it like perfectly 15 minutes, and then right back to the action.
yeah, yeah. That'd be tough, man. That'd be a tough squeeze right in and out. So
They could do it, and you know it's weird. Monsters at Work, the show, not my favorite. Obviously, I watched the whole thing. Obviously, I'm not the target age, but
I was just saying
it's
you're not the
weird.
target audience, but
But here's the thing: all these Pixar movies, they openly say they're not. There's no target audience. It's not meant for kids. It's meant for. It's just a movie that is animated. It's meant for all
well, the
audiences. They're like,
movies, yeah, but the TV shows I think are more for
but
children. But
Pixar says their thing that makes them Pixar is their quality is always the best of the best. They never wanted to make a direct-to-video sequel because they would have to cut their budget and they would have to like make something where the quality isn't the best of the best.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they've gotten away with that with the shows. Because Win or Lose was a terrible show.
I actually liked it. I enjoyed it. I had
I
fun with
hated
it.
it. I hated the look of it. I hated the whole story of it.
Oh, I
I
thought
hate
the
these
animation
sportsmen.
was awesome. I thought the animation was awesome. It was
I
really
hated it.
creative. It was really
I
creative.
think the humans. I just need Pixar to go away from humans for a while. Like they started off where they couldn't make humans, so they had to like use really creative like methods of like toys, monsters, cars, fish. And it felt original, but then they learned how to make humans, and now everything is just a human nowadays. I want like some fun, cool, creative ways to
What's
tell
your
the
opinions
story.
on Elio?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I did not love it.
But we have
I
to
liked
support
it.
it though, or we're just always going to get sequels. We got to start supporting
Yeah,
the original ideas.
I respect it more than I actually like it. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
new
I thought the
story.
story was neat. The story was neat.
Yeah, I think it's a little ridiculous at the end. Like they're just like flying through space. I'm like, all right, like I don't even know.
It's
I
supposed to
don't
be a
know.
kid's fantasy, so like that's the
It's not a
idea.
kid's fantasy. It's actually happening.
Well, yeah, it's
It
supposed to be
was
like you're the kid in the theater, like, oh my gosh, I dream of this stuff.
my
That's what the
biggest
fantasy
issue,
is.
and the issue is this happens at the start of the movie. I hate when movies are like, "Hey, how's Elliot after his parents tragically died and he feels all alone, and now you moved here in this new place and he has no
You're a
friends, want to
Disney
be abducted
fan?
by aliens."
You're a Disney
Huh?
fan? That's like every Disney movie MO.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That could be the backstory, but like, I don't like when the movie starts and it's just like so obvious that they're just giving you like exposition of like they start the movie. How's Elio doing since his parents died
Subtlety's
tragically and he feels all alone, wants to be abducted by an alien? And then like
subtlety's
the
dead,
next
man.
scene, he's like talking to no one, like take me part of the aliens. I'm like, all right, like make me work for it. Don't just like give me this like exposition to
The
start the movie. Like
the issue is the 5-year-old kid can't work on it anymore. Their attention span's 30 seconds. TikTok, man.
look at Wally. Wally, it's like 30 minutes of like a little like clue of like, oh, maybe that led to that. And like
TikTok,
throughout the
man.
movie, you're figuring it
Like
out.
TikTok, man. It's killed our attention span. You
I
got to
don't
give
think
it to
it's
him right
TikTok. I
away.
just think I think people just want to make it like easy for people to figure out. But I'm like, I don't like feeling like you're just telling me the story instead of like storytelling. You're just like telling me. You're not like delivering the
Mm.
story in a unique way.
Hey, my favorite Pixar movie came out recently, so I'm happy for it. Luca.
Is it Soul? Oh,
No,
Luca.
Luca. I love Luca.
I like Luca too, and like there are
Nothing
clear
gets
ways
me
to
more
show
fired up than the
love.
Porto Rosso Cup. Nothing gets me more fired up.
I went through Luca phase, and Adam, I texted, no one answered me once again in our group chat. I
Blame
officially
Izzy.
ranked every. I officially ranked every movie on Letterboxd that I've ever watched. I have recorded that I can remember that I've watched and recorded. I reviewed all of them, and there's like 770 reviews in there. All of Pixar is actually ranked like all the Pixar movies, and then
Yeah.
Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, all ranked.
Avengers Doomsday trailer's coming out soon.
I'm actually gonna try to stay away from trailers.
Well, I
I don't
heard
want to
that.
spoil
Are you
anything.
gonna go watch Endgame? It's getting re-released into theaters.
I might.
Well, they said they have a new post-credit scene that directly sets up Doomsday. So
Honestly, I would go because I love going to the theater. I went the other day to see some movie. What did I go see, Adam? Oh,
I
Zootopia
wasn't.
2.
Oh
Zootopia
yeah,
2.
I forgot that
Obviously,
just came out.
credit to Zootopia 2. I mean, now we're turning to entertainment, but this is like one of my biggest passions is movies, along with sports.
I heard they made it really horny. What I heard. I heard there's a lot of they made the characters way too sexual.
Oh, there were two jokes. I looked over at my mom and I'm like, what? Like, I'm not even gonna get into it, but it was there were two jokes, but it wasn't like crazy, but it was very funny. Every scene, there's some funny like joke or pun that if you notice it, it's funny. If you don't notice it, it doesn't matter for the movie. But every scene, you're like, wait, let me try to like, read this sign. Thought that was very interesting. I love Zootopia 2 more than the first one, honestly. Maybe I don't know. We'll see how it ages in my head.
I haven't seen it yet. I know CM Punk and Roman Reigns are in it. Buddy cops.
What's his name?
Z-Bros.
The guy who won Dancing with the Stars, Robert Irwin. He's
Yeah.
in it as a koala at the end as a travel agent. That was really cool. It was cute.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it. I think Monsters Inc. I like the little Disney Plus things. I think they're funny to see. Are they actually like really bringing in new audience and are kids like, oh, now I understand football? I don't really think so. But
SpongeBob game worked that way. I missed the SpongeBob game. The SpongeBob game was truly awesome.
But those were different because they weren't changing the players. They were just having like on-screen graphics. I actually think it's like technologically, it is so much more amazing to watch this.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, if Odell Beckham one hands the catch and it's like Bart Simpson doing, it's not the same. They like the Simpson. Like
the SpongeBob game. I'll never forget. Oh, Russ Wilson. No. Oh no! Don't you remember that when Patrick was calling Russell Wilson?
I posted that, Adam. It was actually really funny. It was funny. I do miss those, but no.
It was that guy's dream to do play-by-play in a sports game. So that was his first time getting to actually do it on television. So great full story moment for old Patrick Star.
No, I'm interested in sports, interested in where movies go as well. I do want to go to the theaters more. Luckily, it's Christmas time, so like all the better movies kind of get released. It's always the summer and then like the holidays where the good ones start to come out again.
Yeah, new Avatar movies coming
3,
out.
do not bother me during Avatar 3. December 19th, I'm in that theater. I'm watching it in IMAX. I might be by myself because my mom says IMAX makes her dizzy. So I will be there, though, probably by myself in a theater watching Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Well, you won't be by yourself. There'll be a lot of people there, I'm sure.
Okay, I meant like in my traveling.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, so that comes out. Is there anything else big coming out this winter? I know next winter we have Avengers comes out, so there's a bunch, but
I think it's actually a pretty underwhelming holiday movie.
I know Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried's movie just came out. I forget what it's called.
The boxing one?
No, not the boxing one. Where Sydney Sweeney's like the maid in the house, and like you're trying to figure out who's like the psycho. The trailer's really interesting. Like I really want to watch it. But
let's see. So the Stranger Things show is going to come out in the theater.
Yeah.
Look at these movies. They're re-releasing a lot of them. I know that SpongeBob movie comes out and it's probably make money. I'm not.
The SpongeBob movie does come out. Yes.
The
only good SpongeBob movie is the first SpongeBob movie.
I love the first one.
So good. So good.
I did not like the most recent one from
I
like
haven't. I
probably
refuse to watch any of them. I've watched the greatest SpongeBob
yeah.
movie of all time. I'm never gonna watch another one.
Yeah, I really think the only movie I'm gonna be watching here is Avatar: Way of Water, and if they, I don't see Avengers Endgame. I don't know when that re-releases, but
I don't
I'll
know. I
probably.
saw someone say it's getting re-released. So because
Well,
they said that Avengers Doomsday is a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame. So
okay, okay.
so that's why I think they're re-releasing
I'm
it. But
excited. Thank you
Spider
for
Man,
letting me talk movies. This is like
yeah,
you talking about college football,
yeah.
except
Spider Man
movies.
comes out. Spider Man comes out next year in July.
The other Tom Holland, like the new Tom Holland one.
Yeah,
That one scares me.
2027 is loaded.
Is
2027
it?
is loaded. We have the new Batman movie, the new Superman movie. We have the new Spider Verse movie, all in with like a month of each other.
Maybe we just like make this movie thing separate, but like really the with movies we were in a stretch where we had like the end of the MCU, like not the end, but like
The
the
MCU
MCU really
spoiled us.
culminated into Endgame.
The
Like
MCU spoiled us. The MCU
yeah,
was spoiling
it
us.
was a journey for like 10 years watching
Hmm.
these movies, maybe more than 10 years, but it was like you felt it all culminate as one
From
moment.
2015 to 2019, it was like must see every movie. Like
Yes.
everyone was there opening day. Like it was.
Yes. And then that peak, like it wasn't one great movie. It was really just everything that built into it. And even
Mhm.
before that, like Infinity War was another big thing. Avatar, which maybe culturally wasn't as impactful, it still made more money.
Yeah.
They like it is still something that people want to go to the theater and see, and it's an experience. Like you feel like you're there. I love those movies. The story isn't what interests me. It's more so like you watch that movie and you're like, am I actually underwater? It's amazing. You had Star Wars come back. Not that the movies were the best, but at least The Force Awakens. I
That
remember
was
watching that in
huge.
theaters.
That was
I was
huge.
packed. I loved it.
Yeah.
As it goes on, you watch, you're like, maybe it's
Well,
actually not the best
well,
movie, but like,
you realize they just remade the original trilogy
yeah.
over again.
But
Yeah.
you still felt this energy. Yes, the Force awakened in Star Wars universe, but the energy of Star Wars was back in like
Mhm.
a normal world sense where people like not into Star Wars were watching it. It was a
Yeah.
cool moment. We had all these things happening, and it really got me into this whole movies and stuff, like into like a more serious level. And now everyone's like, all right, the MCU's kind of lost its way a little bit.
A
The
little bit.
DC,
A
okay. Well,
little bit. They're
I think
coming back. They're coming back, but
the MCU I think has reclaimed the quality of like what it used to be. The movies
mm,
are actually good.
yeah, they're good. And they haven't
Listen,
touched what they used to be. They haven't touched what they used
Thunderbolt
to
I
be.
thought was a great movie.
Yes.
And what was before that?
Captain America.
I hate it. I was not a fan of that one.
Fantastic Four was after
Oh,
it.
Fantastic Four, yeah. Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts were great movies, but they're not doing
Yeah.
well at the theater because I think people kind of gave up, and you're still looking for direction. So I get it. It's not the same that it used to be, but I'm hoping in like 10 years we could have another like culmination of all these things. Because a few years ago, I felt like every time I went to the movie theater, I was watching like an absolute amazing movie that has been built up for a while, and I was like so happy for the movie. And Zootopia 2 got me really excited to see it. Not that I don't even like love Zootopia 1, but like a Disney movie in theaters. I don't know the last time like we watched Moana 2 together, like
Yes.
that was kind of a letdown, but like before that there was a
I
COVID and stuff.
enjoyed
So
Moana too. I
I did
enjoyed
too.
Moana
I
too.
enjoyed Moana 2 too, but I didn't leave I didn't leave the theater being like that was an experience I won't forget.
Well, no.
Deadpool
We are
Wolverine I thought
old.
was great.
Yeah.
We watched that.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda 4, a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. Nah.
I enjoyed the experience though with you, Adam. Thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, no, it was a fun movie. I love the Kung Fu Panda
Yeah.
movies.
No, just one of those movies where you're like they just wanted to put this panda on the screen to make more money.
Greatest animated trilogy there is close to, and then they do that. Sad.
It's honestly the same thing I feel with Toy Story is like 1, 2, and 3. I'm like each one of those movies might be perfect, and
I
then the
will say,
fourth one I'm like
Toy Story 4 was better than Kung Fu Panda 4. I will say
Oh,
that.
100%.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 at least had an arc.
Yeah, no, Toy Story 4 I think was actually a fine movie, but it just the way that it changed
It was unnecessary.
the ending of 3 was so dumb.
It was unnecessary.
And five's coming out soon. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the theater for it, but I'm like, are we? I think we're just going back in time to when like they were just Bonnie's toys, and she gets an iPad and gets distracted.
Hollywood's out of ideas, man. They just got to remake ideas and find something new to change off of it.
Pixar probably scares me the most of any group, any like production company or whatever. Like they're
Yeah.
the one because they were so far ahead of everyone at the start. Like reviewing all these movies, I would be like, this movie came out the same time as Pixar in like 2005, but Pixar looked 20 times better.
Yeah.
Pixar's characters were so interesting. They weren't humans, and I thought like Lightning McQueen has like a cult following, but it's not really cool. It's just like most of the world loves Lightning McQueen. You know what I mean? And he's like a jerk most of the movie, but we still love him.
Well, he is the
Whereas
main
I'm
character.
watching, yeah, I know, but like people are like obsessed with Lightning McQueen. If you like, they have Cars Land based after that one movie. You know what I mean? Like they have this legacy, whereas other movies they look so much worse. The stories are worse, and then after probably like 15 years of being behind Pixar, other companies are getting more creative. I watched The Wild Robot, and I'm like, wow.
Sony has been on fire.
Yeah. Well, I think it was DreamWorks, right?
No, but I meant Sony's been on fire with what they've been able to do. Like
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse movies. They did the K-pop movie that came out. Like
they've realized, like, all right, every studio can make a story that looks good, but now that things actually could look realistic, you need to try to make them look like a story. You know, like you might make it look like it's drawn more so than like you used to, whereas it used to try to look like plasticky. Now you kind of want to look like this hand-drawn thing, and
Like
I think
comic
it
books.
looks more beautiful. Yeah.
Yep,
Wild
wanted to
Robot
make
has
that
some
fun.
scenes where you're like, the colors are so vibrant. Puss in Boots is one of my favorite animated movies I've ever seen. I think it's bright colors. I love it. And Into the Spider-Verse probably is known for having like the most going on with the amount of animation. It's insane.
And then Across the Spider-Verse did the same thing with the different worlds having different color schemes. And
I just think they don't have their system down of how to make a movie yet. So we're seeing all these production delays because they're overworking their animators. They couldn't.
well, no, those animators were working like slaves as they were trying to get that movie out in a year.
I think that's something that like probably Pixar struggled with early on that they figured out by now, but now they're lacking in other areas. But like Toy Story 2 was, you know, made in like months. You know what I mean? They had to rush that. They had to rush a bunch of the other ones too. But like Spider-Man, they want to get it right, but they're just wasting so much time.
I'm not complaining. Get it right. If they land it, it's unbelievable. If they land
by the time the next one comes out, I'm gonna like forget what happened again.
You're gonna forget what happened. You can rewatch.
It was supposed to be like a year wait, and then or 2 years. If it's a part 1, part 2 has to be the next year or 2 years. It can't be 4 or 5 years.
I'm not complaining. It's gonna be if it's awesome, it's awesome. If they need time to get it right, get it right. I'd rather have them do that than rush it and be bad.
I don't think you should release part 1 until part 2's like, you know, until you know part 2 could actually be made.
Well, they have the story. That's why they thought it could be made. But then they realized that, like there's this thing called labor laws.
I'm not a fan of how they did it.
So if it's a great movie, you're going to say the trilogy's tainted because it came out 5 years later?
I just think the moment will not mean as much as if it came out a year later.
I think it'll mean as much to me as anything. I love those movies. I adore those movies. Those are some of my favorite movies ever.
How far after Infinity War did Endgame come out?
A year. They were filmed at once.
Yeah.
They were filmed as one 7-hour movie.
When did Avatar Way of Water come out?
Way of Water, 20 years, 10 years after the first one?
Yeah, no, I'm saying the Way of Water they set up to like lead into the next one, whereas I don't think the first Avatar like was meant to lead to the second one. So the first one came out. There's gonna be 3 years since the last one. I guess that's as long as I'd go before you start to forget.
I won't forget. You gotta get it right. Get it right. No need to rush things.
We'll see. But thank you for talking movies. We can end the podcast now. Probably record time. Might just make this its own video at the end because we just went crazy. So.
Alrighty, buddy. All right, well, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like to the video. For Chris Reynolds, I'm Adam Sheets. We'll see you next time.